Okay, we're just going to start off by applying a generous amount of moisturiser all over the face. Ideally you'd like to use a brush if you're doing this on a client, but there's not a problem if you're doing it on your own, just to apply the moisturiser with your fingers. So just a generous amount in upward strokes. Now we just want to even out any discoloration of the skin, so any pink or darker areas, we'd want to tone that down a little bit with a correcting concealer. So wherever you see any redness, you just want to apply a little bit on those areas around under the eyes, and then you're going to be blending it. We just want to use a concealer now to remove any of the darker areas around under the eyes. And again, what I like to use is the foundation brush with the concealer rather than using a concealer brush initially. So now we've evened out any discoloration in terms of redness or dark patches, and we're ready to put the foundation on. I'm going for a matte foundation, which is the Studio Fix in NW20. Again, using the same foundation brush because it's got a nice amount of moisturiser which you initially used to begin with. Now, it might look a little bit pale on the video, on your screens, but we will be putting a bronzer on top, so now we'll leave the foundation to set, and we're going to move on to the eye area. What we'll start off by doing is using a pencil, it could be like a crayon, which I'm going to use as a primer all over the eyelid. Once you've generously applied all of the base on, then you're going to use a grey shade similar to the one here, but just being very gentle. You just want to dab that grey eyeshadow on top of the lids. Close-up shot of Kate's look, you'll be able to see that she does have a second colour on her eyes, just around the socket bone, just here and there, of a slight light brown shade, like this shade, because it's matte, it's not a shiny colour, so something that's quite matte would be ideal for this area. And you just want to sweep it outwards going in. And obviously try and match it so that if it's a dark dramatic look that you want, then you can make it darker, and if it's a very light look that you want, then you can make it lighter, but I'm going for a bit more intense than what Kate did. And now we're just using an angled brush like this one. I just wanted to apply a bit of a highlighter to this section and just soften it a little bit. What that does is just picks up the light. Now if you find that's a bit harsh just there, You can just soften that with the same brush. Just soften that whole area there. And the same on this side. Using a white pencil. This one's by Dior. Kate had an open-eyed look, so she applied a white line on the inside of her lash line or waterline. Let's look up. Through. And what Kate did have was a very definite black eye line just underneath that area, just all along her lash line to define the shape of her eyes. So starting from the outside, and just line your eyes. I'm using the MAC Black Track pot for the eye line underneath because it's very resistant. And above the lash line. And do the same with the other eye. Now with Kate's eyebrows, that's quite a striking feature that she has. She's got quite thick, high brows, but not with much shape. So obviously try and get a shape that is suitable. So working with this type of angled brush, using a complementing eyebrow powder, just sweep it along the eyebrow. So we're going for that kind of very defined eyebrow look. The same for the other eye. Now that we've done the eyes, we can do the mascara. Always leave mascara to the end because you don't want to have any of the eyeshadow fall down onto the lashes. And what you want to do is really get into the roots of the lashes by using your wand this angle rather than like this. That way you get right to the base of each lash and give it a good coating. And then leave the last section towards the end because what you want to do is flick it outwards to give you more of a elongated eye look. Now when it comes to doing the blush that Kate has done, you can opt for different types of pink. So I'm using this MAC blusher, which is Dolly Mix. And then what you want to do is just apply it to the apples of the cheeks and put a tiny bit just to have a hint of pink on there. You don't want to overdo the pink because what you might do is make it look too harsh and then it's going to be difficult to take it away. So you'd rather build up the pink rather than try and take it away. And in large circular motions, just apply it like that and just smile. And then with the same brush, we're just going to put a little bit of a bronzer to the cheeks as well, on top of the pink that we've just applied, just to warm out the pinky shade. And I'm just going to use this one by Guerlain. It's shade 286 and it's a really nice neutral nude pink. So that's quite a nice neutral pink to the lips. You could go for a gloss on top. Like so. And you can also, if you wanted to give it more of a matte look, just use a loose powder. I'm going to use this Makeup Forever High Definition Powder, which is ideal for refining the skin, any pores. And then we're just going to apply it to where we would naturally have a shiny appearance to the skin, which would usually be your forehead, down the centre of the nose, around the nose. What we're going to do is just contour a little bit just underneath the cheekbone here. I'm just using this MAC shade, which is a Emote blush shade by MAC, and just a slight hint of contouring underneath the cheeks, just to give you a little bit more definition.